In the 1980s and 1990s, a silent epidemic swept through Hollywood, claiming the lives of some of its brightest stars. 1 in 4 of these actors kept their diagnosis a secret until death. 5 of them were Academy Award nominees or winners. 3 were television icons who entered millions of homes weekly. 2 changed the face of dance and choreography forever. From the silver screen to the Broadway stage, AIDS didn't discriminate. Rock Hudson. His journey with AIDS began in 1984 when he started experiencing mysterious health issues. Initially misdiagnosed with liver cancer, further tests revealed the truth. Hudson had contracted HIV. The actor, known for his rugged good looks and romantic roles, kept his diagnosis under wraps while continuing to work on projects like the popular TV show Dynasty. As Hudson's health deteriorated, his gaunt appearance raised questions among the public. In July 1985, a health crisis in Paris forced the truth into the open. On July 25, 1985, Hudson's publicist confirmed the actor's AIDS diagnosis, making him the first major Hollywood star to publicly acknowledge the illness. Hudson's battle with AIDS lasted just a few more months. He passed away on October 2, 1985, at the age of 59. In his final days, Hudson donated $250,000 to AMFAR, the American Foundation for AIDS Research, helping to establish the organization as a leading force in the fight against the disease. Anthony Perkins. Eternally associated with his role as Norman Bates in Psycho, he lived a life marked by both professional success and personal struggle. Born in 1932, Perkins rose to fame in the 1950s and 1960s, becoming an iconic figure in Hollywood. However, the era's intense scrutiny forced him to guard his sexuality closely. In the early 1980s, Perkins received a devastating diagnosis. He was HIV positive. Determined to protect his family and career, he chose to keep his illness a secret, sharing it with only a select few. Despite his deteriorating health, Perkins continued to work tirelessly, appearing in several films throughout the 1980s. Perkins's final role was in the TV movie In the Deep Woods, 1992, which aired just weeks after his death. He completed his voiceover work for the film from his hospital bed, demonstrating his dedication to his craft even in his final days. Perkins passed away on September 12, 1992, at the age of 60. Freddie Mercury. The flamboyant frontman of Queen, Freddie Mercury, was a force of nature on stage and in the studio. Born Farrokh Bulsara in 1946, Mercury's powerful voice and magnetic stage presence propelled Queen to global stardom. His journey with AIDS began in 1987 when he received his diagnosis. Mercury chose to keep his condition private, sharing it only with a tight-knit circle of friends. Despite his declining health, he threw himself into his work with renewed vigor. In 1991, Queen released Innuendo, their final album with Mercury. The music video for These Are the Days of Our Lives would be Mercury's last appearance on camera, filmed when he was visibly ill but still radiating charisma. On November 23, 1991, Mercury issued a public statement confirming his AIDS diagnosis. Less than 24 hours later, on November 24th, he passed away at his home in Kensington, London, aged 45. In his will, Mercury left the majority of his wealth to Mary Austin, his former partner and lifelong friend, and bequeathed his home to her rather than to his partner, Jim Hutton. Rudolf Nureyev. Hailed as one of the greatest ballet dancers of the 20th century, he lived a life as dramatic as any stage production. Born in 1938 on a train near Irkutsk, Siberia, Nureyev's rise to fame was meteoric. His defection from the Soviet Union in 1961 at Le Bourget Airport in Paris became front-page news worldwide. In the early 1980s, Nureyev began experiencing symptoms of HIV, but his passion for dance remained undiminished. He continued to perform and choreograph, pushing his body to its limits. By 1989, his declining health became apparent, but Nureyev refused to slow down. Even as AIDS took its toll, Nureyev took on new challenges. In 1983, he became director of the Paris Opera Ballet, where he championed young dancers and choreographers. His final public appearance was at the Paris Opera House in 1992 for a production of his staging of La Bayadère. Nureyev passed away on January 6, 1993, at the age of 54. In accordance with his wishes, his tomb at the Russian cemetery in Sainte-Geneviève-des-Bois near Paris is adorned with a mosaic modeled after an oriental kilim rug. Brad Davis. Best known for his powerful performance in Midnight Express, Brad Davis faced the harsh reality of an HIV diagnosis in 1985. Born in 1949, Davis had risen to fame in the late 1970s, earning critical acclaim for his intense portrayals. The fear of career suicide in an unforgiving industry led him to keep his condition a closely guarded secret. Despite battling the illness, Davis continued to work in both film and television. He took on challenging roles, including that of a sailor who dies of AIDS in the TV movie The Normal Heart, 1985, a performance that must have been particularly poignant given his private struggle. Davis passed away on September 8, 1991, at the age of 41. In his final year, he had been working on a screenplay about his experiences as an HIV-positive actor in Hollywood. The unfinished script, titled Living and Dying in L.A., offered a candid look at the challenges faced by those living with AIDS in the entertainment industry. Though never produced, excerpts from the screenplay were later published, providing insight into Davis's personal battle with the disease. Howard Rollins. Born in 1950, Howard Rollins was an accomplished actor whose talent earned him an Oscar nomination for his role in Ragtime, 1981. He is perhaps best remembered for his portrayal of Virgil Tibbs in the TV series In the Heat of the Night, a role that showcased his ability to bring depth and nuance to complex characters. Rollins's career was marked by both triumphs and personal struggles, including battles with substance abuse. In the early 1990s, his health began to decline, leading to speculation about his condition. Despite his challenges, Rollins continued to work, demonstrating his commitment to his craft. In his final years, Rollins took on guest roles in TV series such as New York Undercover and Remember When. His last on-screen appearance was in the TV movie Drunks, 1995, where he played a recovering alcoholic, a role that perhaps drew from his personal experiences. Rollins passed away in December 1996 at the age of 46. After his death, it was revealed that AIDS-related complications had contributed to his passing. Tom Villard. Born in 1953, Tom Villard was a character actor who left an indelible mark on both film and television. Best known for his roles in movies like My Girl and Heartbreak Ridge, as well as the TV series We Got It Made, Villard's career was on an upward trajectory when he received his HIV diagnosis. In a bold move that set him apart from many of his contemporaries, Villard chose to publicly reveal his condition in 1994. His decision to be open about living with AIDS was groundbreaking, especially in an industry where many chose to keep their diagnosis private. Villard used his platform to speak out about the disease and the discrimination faced by those living with it. Even as his health declined, Villard continued to work, appearing in popular TV shows like Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Frasier. His final role was in the series Silk Stockings in 1994, just months before his passing. Villard died on November 14, 1994, at the age of 40. His courage in going public with his diagnosis helped to raise awareness and reduce the stigma surrounding AIDS in Hollywood. Denholm Elliot. Born in 1922, Denholm Elliot was a British actor whose career spanned nearly 5 decades. Known for his versatility, Elliot graced both stage and screen with memorable performances. He earned critical acclaim for roles in films like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Trading Places, and A Room with a View, the latter earning him an Academy Award nomination. In the late 1980s, Elliot was diagnosed with HIV. Despite his illness, he continued to work tirelessly, appearing in several films and television shows. His commitment to his craft never wavered, even as his health deteriorated. Elliot's final film appearance was in Noises Off, 1992, a farcical comedy where he played the alcoholic actor Selsdon Mowbray. This performance, delivered while battling illness, showcased Elliot's enduring talent and professionalism. He passed away on October 6, 1992, at the age of 70 from AIDS-related tuberculosis. Merritt Butrick. Born in 1959, Merritt Butrick captured the hearts of science fiction fans with his portrayal of David Marcus, the son of Captain Kirk, in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. His boyish charm and acting prowess also shone through in the cult TV show Square Pegs, where he starred alongside Sarah Jessica Parker. In the mid-1980s, Buttrick was diagnosed with AIDS. Despite the challenges posed by his illness, he continued to pursue his passion for acting. He took on diverse roles, appearing in TV series like Hill Street Blues, Hooperman, and Beauty and the Beast. Buttrick's final on-screen appearance was in the film Fright Night Part 2 Inches, 1988, where he played Richie, a character who becomes a victim of vampires. The film was released just months before his death, serving as a testament to his dedication to his craft, even in the face of declining health. Buttrick passed away on March 17, 1989, at the young age of 29. Robert Reed. Born in 1932, Robert Reed became a household name as Mike Brady on the iconic TV show The Brady Bunch. Reed's portrayal of the ideal father figure endeared him to audiences across America, but off-screen, he led a private life, carefully guarding his personal struggles and sexuality. In the early 1990s, Reed was diagnosed with HIV. He kept his illness a secret, continuing to work in television. His final appearance was in the series Jake and the Fat Man in 1992, where he played a judge, showcasing his versatility as an actor, even in his final days. Reed passed away on May 12, 1992, at the age of 59. The official cause of death was listed as colon cancer, but it was later revealed that AIDS had contributed to his passing. In a poignant twist, Reed's last professional assignment was as a guest lecturer at the University of California, Los Angeles, where he taught a course on Shakespeare. Peter Allen, born Peter Richard Woolnough in 1944 in Australia, he was a multi-talented entertainer known for his flamboyant stage presence and hit songs like I Go to Rio and Don't Cry Out Loud. Allen's journey to stardom included being discovered by Judy Garland and a brief marriage to her daughter, Liza Minnelli. In the 1980s, Allen was diagnosed with HIV. He chose to keep his diagnosis private, continuing to perform and compose music with the same vigor that had made him a star. His battle with the disease did not dim his creative output. In fact, some of his most poignant work came during this period. Allen's final public performance was on January 26, 1992, at the Sydney Entertainment Centre. Despite his declining health, he delivered a characteristically energetic show, ending with his signature move of dancing on top of his piano. Just a few months later, on June 18, 1992, Allen passed away at the age of 48. Alvin Ailey. Born in 1931, Alvin Ailey revolutionized modern dance with his unique blend of ballet, jazz, and African dance techniques. As the founder of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater in 1958, he created a platform for black dancers and choreographers, bringing African American cultural expression to the forefront of the dance world. In the late 1980s, Ailey was diagnosed with HIV. He kept his illness private, continuing to lead his dance company and create new works. His commitment to dance never wavered, even as his health declined. Ailey's final choreographic work, Opus McShann, 1988, set to the music of jazz pianist Jay McShann, showcased his enduring creativity and passion for dance. Ailey passed away on December 1, 1989, at the age of 58, from a rare blood disorder related to AIDS. In his final years, he had been working on his autobiography, Revelations, named after his most famous dance piece. The book was completed posthumously and published in 1995, offering insights into Ailey's life, his creative process, and his vision for dance as a universal language that could transcend racial and cultural barriers. Michael Jeter. Born in 1952, Michael Jeter was a character actor known for his ability to bring depth and nuance to a wide range of roles. From his Emmy-winning performance as assistant coach Herman Stiles in Evening Shade to his touching portrayal of Edouard Delacroix in The Green Mile, Jeter's talent shone through in every performance. In 1997, Jeter was diagnosed with HIV. Unlike many others in Hollywood at the time, he chose to be open about his condition. He continued to work in both television and film, demonstrating that an HIV diagnosis didn't have to mean the end of a career. His openness helped to reduce stigma and showed that the disease could be managed, even in the demanding world of acting. Jeter's final film role was as Rudy Grimes in The Polar Express, 2004, which was released posthumously. He had completed his voice work for the animated film before his death. Jeter passed away on March 30, 2003, at the age of 50 from complications related to epilepsy, although his HIV status was a significant factor in his declining health. In a touching tribute, his Sesame Street character, Mr. Noodle's brother, Mr. Noodle, was retired after his death. Ian Charleson. Born in 1949 in Edinburgh, Scotland, he captivated audiences with his portrayal of Eric Liddell in the Academy Award-winning film Chariots of Fire, 1981. His performance as the devout Scottish runner who refuses to compete on the Sabbath earned him widespread acclaim and kicked off a successful career in both film and theater. In the mid-1980s, Charleson was diagnosed with HIV. Despite his illness, he continued to work, delivering critically acclaimed performances on stage. His portrayal of Hamlet at the National Theatre in 1989, performed when he was seriously ill, is still remembered as one of the greatest performances of the role. Charleson's final stage appearance was in Hamlet at the National Theatre in November 1989. Despite his rapidly declining health, he gave a performance that many considered to be the pinnacle of his career. Actor and director Richard Eyre described it as the perfect Hamlet. Charleson passed away on January 6, 1990, at the age of 40. In his memory, the Ian Charleson Awards were established, presented annually for the best classical stage performances in Britain by actors under age 30. Larry Kert. He etched his name in Broadway history by originating the role of Tony in the groundbreaking musical West Side Story in 1957. His powerful tenor voice and charismatic stage presence made him a Broadway favorite, and he continued to work in theater for the rest of his career. In the 1980s, Kert was diagnosed with HIV. Despite his illness, he continued to perform, showcasing his enduring talent and dedication to his craft. One of his most notable later performances was in the revival of The Musical Company in 1995, where he stepped in as a replacement for the role of Bobby. Kurt's final stage appearance was in the off-Broadway production Elegies for Angels, Punks, and Raging Queens in 1989, a cycle of songs and monologues reflecting the AIDS crisis. Kurt passed away from AIDS-related complications on June 5, 1991, at the age of 60. In recognition of his contributions to musical theater, Kurt was posthumously inducted into the American Theater Hall of Fame in 1997. Timothy Patrick Murphy. Born in 1959, he made his mark on television in the early 1980s with his role as Mickey Trotter on the popular primetime soap opera Dallas. His boyish good looks and acting talent quickly made him a favorite among viewers, and he seemed poised for a long and successful career in Hollywood. In the mid-1980s, Murphy was diagnosed with HIV. He kept his condition private, continuing to work in the industry as long as his health allowed. Despite the challenges posed by his illness, Murphy took on several roles in television movies and series throughout the 1980s. Murphy's final on-screen appearance was in the TV movie Knockout in 1987, where he played a young boxer. This role, which required physical prowess and emotional depth, demonstrated Murphy's commitment to his craft even as he battled his illness. Murphy passed away from AIDS-related complications on December 6, 1988, at the young age of 29. Kevin Peter Hall. Born in 1955, Kevin Peter Hall was an actor known for his imposing height of 7 feet 2 inches, which led to unique and memorable roles in Hollywood. He is perhaps best remembered for playing the alien hunter in Predator and the titular character in Harry and the Hendersons. Hall's life took a tragic turn in 1990 when he was involved in a serious car accident. During treatment for his injuries, he received a blood transfusion that was contaminated with HIV. Despite this devastating diagnosis, Hall continued to work, demonstrating remarkable resilience and dedication to his craft. His final role was as the Predator in Predator 2 Inches, 1990, a reprisal of the role that had made him famous. The physical demands of the role, which required him to wear a heavy costume and perform stunts, were particularly challenging given his declining health. Hall passed away from AIDS-related pneumonia on April 10, 1991, at the age of 35. His tragic story highlighted the risks associated with blood transfusions during the early years of the AIDS crisis and led to increased scrutiny of blood screening processes in hospitals. John Magna. He began his acting career as a child, gaining fame for his role as Dill in the classic film adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird, 1962. His portrayal of the precocious young boy who befriends Scout and Jem earned him critical acclaim and set the stage for a diverse acting career that spanned both film and television. In the 1980s, Magna was diagnosed with HIV. Unlike many others in the industry at the time, he chose to be open about his condition, which was still highly stigmatized. As his health declined, he became less active in the entertainment industry, but remained committed to raising awareness about AIDS. Magna's final on-screen appearance was in the TV series Freddy's Nightmares in 1989, where he played a small role in the episode Memory Overload. This appearance, while brief, showcased Magna's enduring talent and professionalism. Magna passed away from AIDS-related complications on September 5, 1995, at the age of 42. Michael Callan. He was born in 1955 and was more than just a singer and songwriter. He was a pioneering AIDS activist who used his voice both on and off stage to fight for awareness and understanding. Diagnosed with HIV in 1982, Callan became one of the earliest and most vocal advocates for people living with AIDS. Callan's musical career was intertwined with his activism. As a member of the a cappella group The Flirtations, he performed at numerous AIDS benefits and gay rights events. His solo album, Purple Heart, released in 1988, featured songs that dealt directly with his experiences living with AIDS, bringing a personal and poignant perspective to the crisis. One of Callan's most significant contributions was co-authoring How to Have Sex in an Epidemic, One Approach in 1983, one of the first comprehensive safer sex manuals published at the height of the AIDS crisis. This groundbreaking work helped to establish the concept of safe sex and save countless lives. Callan continued to perform and advocate until shortly before his death. He passed away on December 27, 1993, at the age of 38.